Bottom of page, go through Zion. So let's go back to Biur Torah. Got it? How is it that if you go down to the broken mountains, you rise up to the fragrant mountains? In other words, the brokenness, right, leads you to a deeper connection and deeper space, right? Essentially, it means that whenever you're falling, I went back to Kuf Yud Zayin, the beginning of Gimel. So when you're broken, Harei Bater, you're not. You're actually in a great place possible. I mean, you are broken. Not saying you're great. You are. And that brokenness is your friend, is your virtue. Hashem said, I put you in the ground, I planted you in the ground. Why did the Jews go out to Golos? In order to add more Gerim, which means when you fall into such a life-transforming idea, every food or drink you have has a spark in it ready for you. Yeah?
Everything has a spark?
Or every single thing you interact with has a spark ready to you to elevate.
So what's with the looking for sparks? Everything has a spark.
So the way it works like this, you don't need to look for sparks, you need to live life. And in life, it's going to be, that's what he's saying, opportunities abound. Now, get the reframing of what this means to live in the space. If you don't live this way, then you'll have a barometer of what you consider to be success. And you'll measure yourself against that success. So when you're not achieving it, you'll feel down. And when you are achieving it, you'll feel up. What he's saying is, there's a direction you're going because you want to be whatever you want to be. Every single experience in your life is netting an opportunity. How do I feel in this moment? What can I do with Hashem in this moment? So every single moment, you're going to ask yourself, what does Hashem want to be this moment? Right? So right now, Hashem wants me to learn Torah in the morning, clearly. You find yourself not concentrating. Right now? Of course.
Why? But it's my person. Like I want. Like I go to work. He wants me to work.
Yes.
Why? What if he wants me to? I don't know.
You need to, in order to live, there's certain basics you need to have. You need to eat food. I assure you have to eat today.
What if I'm over?
Exactly. So yeah. So the trick of life is to understand when are you overindulging and when are you taking the right amount. Those are the challenges of life. Today's Rambam, in the 3 Prakim, Rambam says it's the most difficult thing to understand. Why does Hashem? How does it make sense? Hashem controls everything, and He can say whatever He wants. He can do. So, and Hashem gives me free choice, and I can do whatever I want. And He says, exactly. If Hashem controls everything, He also controls your free choice. Meaning, the ability to give you free choice is His. You want to try and understand that? There's no way to understand it. Right? But Hashem gives you free choice. So now, what's your free choice? So the point of sparks is, whatever you're going through, here's how you look at it. You look at it as, what do I need to do now? I want to do it. Okay, what's the spark of Him? So if I need to go on vacation, why did Hashem send me to this place right now? Why did Hashem send me to this space to go to this? Because wherever I am right now, there's a spark of godliness that for me to be able to elevate. Go for it.
So we just have free choice, Hashem, because you could go to vacation. You need to go to vacation there, or you cannot go on vacation.
Yes, Hashem is not telling you. You actually have free choice about where to go on vacation. You actually do. Okay. And you decide where you're going. And then when you get there, so now look for opportunities all the time. Every moment of your life, understand that there's an opportunity of a spark.
Could be a mistake that you might make.
Could be a mistake, and then you're there. If you're there, you have to. I just saw a letter of the Rebbe where he says the person goes to a place and he finds himself in a location. Every single wherever our footsteps, Hashem wants you to be there, and you need to get connected to the Jews of the place, and you look for Torah and get connected, and stay connected to them after. That's what he says. So every food or drink. The exceed this apostle says Yatzei Bulu Sanim. Hashem makes borders, boundaries. Line 6 of Ot Gimel. Bulot Tamim it begins. Shehen Asarim Shel Yaakov Neged Ayin Nefesh Yaakov. You know why there's 70 nations? Because there's 70 souls in Yaakov. That's beautiful. Every Jew, every Jewish type of soul has a nation. That was all our souls in America. All the different types of people living in America now are American type souls. That's what you are, whatever that means. Every one of these 70 ministering angels has a root in the 7 kings, right? There's a general, and they go down to the 7 kings. And those are the 7 kings who ruled over the.
What's Zion Tov?
Zion Tachtonim.
Zion Tachtonim.
Yeah. Every one of us stems from there. Bnei Yisrael, what are they? They're tikkun. What does tikkun mean? They are fixed up. Bnei Yisrael are in the fixed up place. That's the world of the world of perfection. Tikkun. But there's little sparks of toyu. So now you understand the game of Pac-Man that you're playing in that. I mean, it's a life transformation. You're playing a game. What's the game? The game is look around and find God wherever you can. Find godliness. How do you find godliness? Very simple. Torah and mitzvot in the place where you are. That's what it is. Right? So the Torah and mitzvot is the spark. And this is why, I don't know, I had a cup of coffee this morning. I'm like, okay, now I'm done. I don't want to have more coffee during the day. So I think I don't want to have more coffee. Why? Because I'm done with the coffee. But right now, why don't I want more coffee? Because there's no more spark left for me there. So the soul doesn't want it. You decide to indulge that coffee anyway. Oof, that's a problem. That's when you're going. We said in chapter 7 in Tanya. That's when you get into this. What if you want people to face? What?
What if you wanted a coffee? Now, what if you want another coffee?
So then the other coffee becomes, Tanya says, one of the gimel klippos of mace. If you don't need it anymore, so now the mutter food becomes mutter.
What does that mean needed?
Indulging, overindulging. Obesity, when you don't need it anymore. Very clear.
But you don't need it in the morning either. Maybe you do need it in an hour. I don't understand. Like,
okay, that's not a clear-cut science. It's what you need to eat.
That's also an addiction.
Correct. 100%. To figure out what's the right amount. I don't know.
Balance.
Yeah. Anything you have in life, right? Anything you have in life that is not the way Hashem wants it will control you and die. You're called dead when you fall from your level. There were 288 sparks that fell into the world of Bria, and those are the sparks that we live with now. Just to explain what this means, right? Today they call it trauma. What's a trauma? Anything that's anti-Hashem. If you align yourself in your life with God, and everything's clear, I want for Hashem, you will have a beautiful, blissful life. Alas, God did not create us perfect. He created us with all inhibitions. And therefore, what's going to end up happening is you're going to be traumatized by life. What's trauma? A very basic level of trauma, not someone who was abused. The very basic level of trauma is you make up a decision in your life, you want this. The Gemara says in Saita, I was looking at this morning. The Gemara says in Saita that each right, Shimshon halach achar einav, followed his heart. Therefore, it lists a whole bunch of people that when he went after something, and therefore, not only did he not get what he wanted, Avshalom, Shimshon, Asa, not only does not get what he wanted, but he also falls and doesn't get anything. Korach wants money, so he got nothing, it's buried in the ground. So every one of us, you have a trauma and you want something deep, and then when you don't get it, you fall. So those are the 7 Melachim of Torah, but they are very powerful forces, and they lead you in life. Right? The person wants to be super rich. So you're going to fall. Something will give way. Your family or whatever, I don't know what, because it's not a normal thing to want that. So when it does, it's an incredible power, but it leaves with it a lot of little sparks. And those sparks, right? Sparks are things, opportunities, places you went, people you met, things you did. And those are the little things you can elevate in your life. In other words, you're always in the perfect state. Hope that makes sense. The Kane, so inside, that means in the places where you go, in the life you lead, are sparks of holiness awaiting to be elevated by Kedusha. I'm giving an example of what that means. When you decide you want to make $1 billion and you are one track, you're going to make that money, it's controlling every fiber of your being. Then you hit your crisis, your midlife crisis, whatever it is, and the whole thing shatters. And what happened? It led you places, like a lot of things that have caused you to do. Those are the sparks. So in its primordial state, that's Olam HaToyu. And that's what our life is. Opportunities abound everywhere. Now, what do we want to do? We want to do what's called, this is so powerful now, we're going to discuss this pasuk. We learned this last year, Eli, if you remember. This is what it says, Mechaye Meisimat Torah v'Yeshia. Right? So the way we translate this always, we discuss this whole next piece now. Hashem gives, Mechaye Meisim, what does it mean? Do you revive the dead or Hashem revives the dead? Hashem, right? I can't do much about it. He's going to describe how you're going to revive the dead. You're going to bring the dead back.
Tanya,
no? What?
By the Torah we learn, right?
The what? No.
In doesn't it say in Tanya that the Torah we learn is going to be Mechaya us in the future?
Yeah, no, he's going to hold the place right there.
Tal.
He's going to describe you. What?
The Tal.
Yeah. That's something else. You're going on a different track over there. In Yan Tchias HaMeisim, next page 234. This is a different way to daven now. When you daven, you want to think about what it means to revive the dead. The person who's reviving the dead is going to be you. And you have to understand who the dead are and how you revive them. Page 234. It's to elevate the sparks that fell down to bring them back home. That's what it means to revive the dead. So there's 288 sparks, right? And there are sparks all over. Again, let's go back to how they fell down. All right? There was a world called Olam HaToyu. The world was a world of intensity. That world was traumatic, and that's why it shattered.
There was too much kedusha.
Too much kedusha. That's what I mean.
Like, well,
I'm saying to you, look at yourself. When you have a in life, right? You're young. And I'm going to do something. I'm going to find where a guy says, I'm going to live life. I'm going to become super wealthy or whatever. And I'm going to do it. By the time I'm 40, I'm going to be the wealthiest guy in the world. And whatever. And then what? And then you're going to come tumbling down because you didn't get married and you destroyed your life and you did whatever, all the things you did. Whenever you look back at what you did, you'll see you left like a whole trail of sparks. The people you met, the things you did, all the things, those are called the sparks. Now, when Toyu does it, those sparks are all dead. That means all around the world, there's opportunities that are actually dead. There's godliness everywhere in the piece of food, in the opportunity, in the experience. There's a godly opportunity. You can reach it and find the locus there.
what do you mean dead?
It means it's dormant. It's in a state of complete detachment.
It's hibernating.
So your goal is to go out and to find him.
And it's hibernating. It's hibernating.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more. A deep. It's a deep sleep. It's a deep hibernation. Yeah. I guess hibernation is deep, but yeah. Yes, correct. So Mechaya Mesim, right? Mechaya Mesim means I'm going to go out and bring the dead back to life. How? By walking out into the world and transforming everything out there. It's kind of like walking over to a Jew who doesn't know about Judaism and bringing him back to life. Life is godliness. And when you're in that state, like you wake up, you feel revived. So let's see it. How do you revive the dead? When you eat the food. So they are being animated by the klipa. And it's enclosed in a garment over there. All the things you need. So I went and ate this. When you eat food, that's an act of death. Food, because it's like it brings you down, it's a physical, vile, materialistic act. But then when you take that sushi that you ate, and instead of living in the sushi, and what do? Going to talk to your friends about whatever, because now you feel energized. Instead of that, what do? You go daven. So how do you daven? With the sushi. Right? Sorry. So I'm going to go in Shema. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to say Shema Yisrael Hashem Echad. And when I say Echad, I'm going to think to myself how I'm letting my whole being, I'm aligning myself with Hashem. I'm giving myself over totally and utterly to Hashem. When I do that and I say Echad, what happens? The sushi is saying Echad.
But the bracha before the sushi and after.
That's also part of it. It's one big world. The whole world becomes godly. So what I'm doing is, I'm mechayem meitim. I'm taking the godly spark which was there. What does it mean, the godly spark? Sushi wants to say Shema. How do I know that? Because you can only say Shema if you eat sushi or something else. Right? So therefore, the food is now going to be elevated into the Shema. You're bringing him under the that piece of fish. This is all how we daven Shmona Esrei. So let's understand davening now. בברכת אתה גיבור לעולם השם מחיה מתים אתה. Let's learn this pasuk. אתה גיבור, מה זה גיבור? גיבור is גבורה, גבורה is limitation, צמצום. לעולם to create a world, it's concealment. Right? שזהו גם כן עניין תחיית המתים שיש בכנסת ישראל. Now I'm going to start the process of תחיית המתים. I'm going to bring back to life all the dead pieces of my life, שיש בכנסת ישראל, the ישראל מעלים מתוצאות הרי זה, שמחיה אותם מבחינת המיטה שלהם. You're taking them, like you say, out of their hibernation, but it's out of their death.
One more time, אתה גיבור לעולם understood, then afterwards?
אתה גיבור לעולם, אדנה, מה זה אדנה? אדנה זה השם של השם שהוא אדון. אדון זה she's ruling over and controlling a world. So you, Hashem, concealed yourself, you were mitzamtzem yourself, you limited yourself to allow a world to be. Right? And now there's a world and a limitation, and then there's sparks of kedusha in the sushi. And now there's me, whose job it is to go say Shema. But when you know, I don't know if you see it. If you go to sleep at night, right, and you watch, I don't know, the President of the United States or whatever you're watching, something good, right? You're going to sleep and you're feeling there's something to be said about death. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not holy. You feel it, not holy. If you go inside and you watch and you read a Hasidic story, for example, and you fall asleep with that, you can feel it. You can actually feel, like, go listen to some motivational speaker on YouTube, or go listen to the Rebbe speaking on YouTube. And you'll see one is life, one is death. Life is elokus. When you're learning Torah, it's hard, but it's life, it's elokus. When you live in that life, you're changing the world around you. So what you're doing, and now what does it mean? So what you're doing is, התחילה כמו שהם מלבושים בגשמיס, when they are enclosed in the physical, שבנויגה נקראו בשם בייסים, they're called dead, כמו שכוסו, ויים לא יחווה יומוס. He's in control, right? He dominates and then he dies. Every king of the world, look at it's incredible to see. If you look at Stalin, right, he controlled the entire world. Hitler controlled the entire world. Over the ages, there were many, many people like that. And every time he controls the world, it looks like there's never a change. And then he dies, and the whole thing dissipates. And in your life, there's states where you believe that was the most important thing in the world, and then it died. So death causes a lot of things to happen around the world. I mean, but how do you bring them back to resuscitate them? When you say Kriyat Shema, what you're doing is, you're not saying Shema. The sushi is saying Shema. שאז יוכללו גם הן עמוהם באחד ויחיים מבחינת המיסה. You'll bring them back to life from death. וזהו פירוש מחיי מתים עתו. So he's saying, Hashem, you're Mechayim Mesim, but you don't mean you, Hashem, are Mechayim Mesim. I mean, when I let go, and bring you in, I'm Mechayim Mesim. So Mechayim Mesim Ato, through bringing Ato into the picture, I'm Mechayim Mesim. How? I mean, Ato Gibel Olam Adna. Because Hashem put the work in. Hashem was Gibor. Gibor is a Gvura, limitation. In order for Hashem to be an Adon, a master, you were known to be the master of all. It's Hashem's Gvura, which is limitation from level to level, cause to effect. And it can't be cause to effect. Hashem jumped over everything. Shechina descended to enclose herself in Klippa. That's Gvura, limitation. When a person is Gibor, he can run fast, for example.
What are we leading towards? What is this all building up to? I don't know what's the flow of this.
What he wants to get to is that there was a Megillah Esther, and I mean, in Megillah Esther transpires, Hashem was concealed, and we couldn't see him anymore, and we were stuck, and we were in Golus, and it's Shoshana Ben Achoichim, and everything went south and went wrong, and the Shechina was supposed to be given on Matan Torah, and Matan Torah went off the derech because the mountain was not supposed to give it on, and so we had to jump on the gazelle. It's all B'tach B'Hashem, right? And what we're discovering is that everything that went wrong, we did everything we shouldn't have done in history. We messed up totally. Now we're going to discover that now that you realize you messed up, that mess up, the place where you're in now, with all the trauma you went through and all the things you went through, there's a spark of Kedusha, and when you flip it over, and when you become a godly person, you're in the best place ever possible. And that's what he started this chapter with, was Rati Ali Baritz. So when a person looks at his life and he says, if you look at your life and you see how much you messed up, you might want to jump off a bridge, chas v'shalom, if it's pretty bad. And when you realize that, hey, it is pretty bad, but who made this whole thing? You limited yourself to this space, and I was controlled by whatever I was controlled by. And now I'm going to look at my life and say, what does Hashem want of me now? And that's the spark. I'm going to revive the spark over here. That's the Purim story.
And what's the Rav Lahishia?
What?
What's the Rav Lahishia? What does that mean? At the end,
he's going to describe now the whole next two columns of Rav Leishia. He's going to say that in the Talmud Yerushalmi versus Talmud Bavli, I mean, they have a difference between how they called the rabbi, right? Like how do you call your rabbi? Some people call him rabbi, and some people call him Rav.
Actually, in today's daf, Rabbi, we have Rav Zera and Rabbi Zera. Literally, today we're talking about that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
Rav Zera, they said that when I went to Israel, it became Rabbi, got smicha. It's funny, literally today.
Right. Yeah. So what's the difference between Rav and Rabbi? Why is in Kol Rav mi Bavel, when Gemara says Kol Rabbi mi Eretz Yisrael? Lama.
The smicha is Eretz Yisrael. He gets smicha in Eretz Yisrael. It's a different smicha. That's why.
So why is it not the other way around? Rabbi in Bavel and Rav in Eretz Yisrael.
Rabbi's higher.
What? Why? Because it's a Yud. Why is it higher?
I guess it's a Yud. It's the godliness.
Right. That's what you describe now. That the Yud is of course you bring into the picture. Rav is the multitudinous, and Rav Yud you see Hashem in the multitudinous. So in Eretz Yisrael you sit there and you see Hashem and it's revealed. In Bavel you don't, and so when you don't, what happens? When you don't see Hashem, you're stuck. So Mechayim Mesim Ato, when I'm doing the Mechayim Mesim, then he's going to describe now Rav, the Babylonian Rav, which is the multitudinous, the Hoshia to save. It's called defragmenting life. And it's moiridik. It's essentially your ability to see everything that happens in life in the bubble, which is the mix up, the Babylonian thing, and to see Hashem and everything, which is going to be the Purim story. The Purim story is everything went wrong, and it wasn't going wrong, it was going right. But you didn't know it was going right till the end. When you look back and you say, oh my gosh, wow. And that's what you're doing every single day of your life. So after you finish this piece, the tefillah becomes incredible. Incredible. It's basically, Hashem, you created this, you hid yourself, to allow a world to be a concealment. And my job is to be Mechayim Mesim by revealing the Ato, by bringing Hashem into the picture. And that's going to be Rav Lo Yishia, which is going to describe now at length.
So the Mechayim Mesim is, how's that? Like, how's that flow?
Ata Gibor Le'olam Adna means you created the dead. Right? You, Hashem, you hid yourself. I mean, you concealed the Elokus so that there's a world, and I don't see Hashem, and I see Olam. I'm going to be Mechayim Mesim by bringing the Ata into the picture.
And the Ata,
me revealing Hashem in this world.
and Ata is
Huh?
what? Doesn't it say by Tefillah that Ata is the neshama?
That's when you talk about, I mean, yeah, it's the same idea, by the way. You're talking about when it says, Hashma La'aretz Masha Atam Meitzim Mipicha.
Yeah.
That my memory says that, yeah. So
Yeah.
the Ato is the sense of Elokus, yeah.
So you're saying that the Ata that was Mitzamtzum himself, you're going to bring that forward to be Mechayim Mesim.
Let's get simple. It's very simple. I mean, a Jew looks at himself, and you want to just change your space. I mean, you want to say, I mean, you want to get on fire with Elokus. Where do you want to get on fire? In whatever space you're on right now. In other words, it's not about where are you in life. Wherever you are in life, you can go say Shema, and you can go get excited over Elokus and over Hashem, and it's amazing. I mean, and all the food that you ate and the experience that you have are all going to be the very experience that are going to lead you into Hashem. I mean, it's the same word as Yismach Yisrael Ba'Osav. I think the Holy Likutei Torah is the same thing, by the way. It's just a matter of getting there. Yismach Yisrael Ba'Osav. What did he say? You should get happy with every single thing that happens to you, because every single thing that happens to you is bringing Hashem closer to you. So where is Hashem? This. Wow. The problem is, when you look at it from an external vantage, you messed up. You botched up in life. This is your fault. That's your problem. That's your problem. And then you say, you flip it over. Oh, this is of course, and you go on fire. That's the Mechayim Mesim. You're changing all this experience and making the death experiences into godly experiences. How? By standing in the middle of it all and saying Shema from within your experiences. Because then, right, it's all combustible material. All the things in your life are combustible material experiences that transform to godliness. And because they each have a spark in them. What?
So the Mechayim Mesim is sparks?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ellie, if it makes you feel any better, I'm not getting it either in terms of how the whole system's working yet, but there's like another like page and a half over here, so I think we just have to be patient. So yeah.
Okay. I like
which part,
what we're heading towards.
which part don't you get?
No. I'm just when Ellie was asking what's the point, to be honest, he was expressing my thinking too. Like where's this going? Like we're talking about we're taking sparks. We're talking about we're taking sparks. We're giving life to the sparks. So the sparks are not connected to Hashem. It's just like it feels like we're kind of like there's a bunch of thread out there, and we're like spin wheels spinning the thread, and somebody on the other side is happy with the thread that's coming out, and because there was a bunch of cotton before, it's just like what's our role in this whole thing? He was ensonsing himself to kill himself so that it could be brought back up and be elevated. Something's missing in this. In this situation, it's like Dear B'Tachtona. We're not talking about.
I'm trying to understand. Hold on. What? I'm trying to like get what you just said.
What I'm saying is, you basically said that Hashem was ensonsing himself, and then the sparks came down, and the sparks are essentially missing life, and we have the ability to absorb this, eat the sushi, and then bring life into the sushi by davening with that sushi. So it's reconnecting with its source, correct?
Yeah, I just it wasn't Hashem was Matamtim himself. That would be a little bit of a thing. Because Hashem was Matamtim himself.
Gevura, sorry, Gevura. I maybe use the wrong term.
No, but it's the Vayim Lech Vayomos. It's the death that came about, right? It's the falling apart of the what's it called?
Olam Matayim.
Yeah, Olam Matayim that shatters. So it wasn't meant to be, if you will.
Right, you're saying the mountains were wrong, but everything's Min HaShamayim. Everything was supposed to happen, so you can't say that really. Almost like just like when I batch up, it's all good. Hashem wanted me to be. It's all good. So I could say the same thing about Olam Matov. Like where does it end? So it's just like I don't know. It's very abstract to me too. The way I'm sure Ellie, that's the same idea. Ellie is struggling.
Abstract. The idea of just tell me what's abstract. The idea of sparks.
No, how this all fits together in one picture. I'm not seeing yet how it fits together. I guess.
I'm not sure you don't see, because there's basically there's a world of Toyu, right? The world of Toyu shatters, Torah we got so far, what Torah was, a holy world. Everyone's following their one path, that's what they're doing.
People go.
No, it's ideas. It's like when you have a child, he wants to be this, it's like it's an idea, abstract. And the world of Torah shatters. And in the process, there's a lot of little things left over in the world. So all the Gashmias stems from Torah, right? And in the Gashmias, there's a holiness in it. What's the holiness? That you cannot survive unless, I don't know what the holiness is, but I do know that I cannot survive. I can't learn right now Torah, or I can't go daven unless I have food and drink. How much food and drink, what food and drink is up to me. But that I have to have food and drink is clear. So that means that in the food and drink, there's a spark and an opportunity of a nakuda in it, which can help me daven. So if you can daven and latch into that nakuda, that's called elevating the sparks. So it means not allowing the physical, your phone, my phone right now is doing a very holy thing. I'm telling you right now, the phone is on fire in Kedusha. He really is. Because I'm looking at him and he's got, everyone's learning the mimer in him. He's on fire. Unfortunately, he's not all the time on fire. He can do other things too. And that's a problem. But right now, the spark of Kedusha is there. That's the spark. There's no question that's a spark. Right? And he's on fire. So that's the spark. Now, Mechayim Mesim, when you live your life and you're living in that space, you see only the godliness in it, right? That's the Mechayim Mesim.
So
now, what doesn't make sense?
When the Rambam talks about the Chaimer and the Tzura, you're basically saying the thing here has the Tzura, the so-called spiritual energy, but it's tied up in the Chaimer and you have to release it. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
In essence.
Exactly. It's like playing Pac-Man. I'm sorry for using it all the time because it's the last computer game I played. But that's the idea. All right, you're going to go out and find the sparks. Penny, what do you got to...
No, I could parrot everything back, Rabbi. I really could. I could say it. I let's just keep going because we're saying Adamatoh, the ideas, they break, they shatter, in the food, they're in the Gashmias, they're in the underneath, but it's all Hashem, but it's Hashem's Vayamas, so to speak, whatever that means. And then we're here to bring it back and give it back life, to connect it back to its source. That's basically what we're saying. I could say it, Rabbi, but I'm not really, and I know we're Pac-Man, we're getting the sparks, I got that, but I'm just not really connecting it in my head.
You gotta connect it to real life. It's a nice concept.
Ellie, can you help me?
No, in other words, the concept we've been through before. The question is how we bring this concept into real life. Well, what are we leading towards here? This mind was trying to teach me. That's where I was lost. At the end of the day,
it's Vayamas. I don't know. Let's keep going. I don't know. I'm not yet connecting to it, Rabbi. But again, it's still early. There's like literally a huge paragraph need to be finished.
Yeah. Let's go for it. Okay. Someone has a Gittin Aviyah. I'm trying to find my Gittin Aviyah, the next little Gemara of it, to see the source of it, and I can't find it right now. If anyone wants to look, Gittin Daf Nun Zayin Amud Aleph is the next little thing of it to see what the exact story was. But what he's describing over here is a Gibor can run very, very swiftly. I'm trying to remember the exact story over there, but what happened was Bar Doroima have a profits milo. He was able to jump a full meal. And that's a Gemara in Daf Nun Zayin Amud Aleph. So you got to see what exact Gemara the thing is, and then we have to understand why is he like Lichura. It's a simple point that he's saying, and meaning he just saying a Gibor Yachol Muzmayel. Okay, so it's a long jump. You can take a big long jump. I don't know why I have to quote a source in Gemara to prove that if you have a lot of strength, you can jump. Maybe if someone wants to look up that story to see like what is the chiddush of that story.
You might have to do it once he started learning Torah. Who are we talking about? I remember something. Hold on. I'll look at it.
This is the Gemara of the Churban. So I'll continue while you're looking. Why the jump? Right? So what Hashem did was, it's a deliberate plan. There's Elokus revealed. And Hashem jumped over and concealed all the Elokus and hid the whole thing. And what's the point of it? To allow you to find the sparks, basically. Right? So what he wants is that Hashem should the spark should come down And there should be an opportunity for sparks because Hashem hid himself, that's why you have something to do. What is it? It's Aglo. And Aglo, I'm not sure. I think Aglo is the name of Hashem. That's what he's trying to get at. I'm not sure what this one means. Siddur being in a mikveh. We'll look that up. Al-Rebbe has a Siddur, Siddur Imdach, and there he goes through all the mitzvahs. Actually, just reprinted it in a very, very nice way, and he explains the name Agla there. Every time I guess that's the same when they look it up. I never looked it up yet, but yeah, skip that one. Okay, this is what it means. Rav lehoshia. So what's Rav lehoshia? Nobody knows what this means in davening. Tell me what it means. What on earth does that mean, Rav lehoshia?
You save a lot. No, you
Rav lehoshia, you save a lot. You save a lot. Moshiach, I don't know what it means. Rav lehoshia means you're what? You're always on the saving mode. What? He's going to describe now at length what it means.
Very quickly, they said there was a Hava Behud Ahu Bar Deroimot. There was somebody from the south.
Where do you find it? Where is it?
You have the Gemara there?
Yeah.
So on the fat lines,
Yeah.
5, 1, 2, 3, 6 lines.
Oh yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, what does it
Beginning
mean?
of the line. It says, there was somebody there that would jump a mile and kill Romans, and he would kill them. So Caesar put his Torah on the floor, and he begged Hashem to help him and to whatever. And this person ultimately died. He was he went to the Beis Kisa, and a snake came in and went inside him and ate him up, or whatever, and disemboweled him.
What was the issue? That Caesar put a thing on the ground. So what was this
It
problem?
says v'katabuhu to have a kafetz milah. He'd be able to jump him off. V'katabuhu, he killed Romans. Shakle kesa l'sage v'isra ara. Caesar put his I'm going to read from the English. Put his crown on the ground. Amar he davened. Ribono de alma kula loy timser lahu gavela didei u'machusa ini chalei. If it pleases you, don't deliver this person to not deliver him to Kaiser, into a single person. The person, the Southerners, whatever, this person that was jumping, brought his own downfall. He said,
He relied on his own power instead of Hashem's power.
Right, and then he didn't die by a Yad Adam, he died from other means. That's what it says, it seems.
Right. And the Alter Rebbe wants one simple thing out of this. He just wants the beginning of this. All he's saying is that there was a Bar Deroima who had such power that he was able to jump 1 mile with 1 jump. In other words, he jumped and it was a mile. That's all he wants to bring from it. Like the Gibel or Tzorah. So yeah, I don't think he's bringing the second part of the story there. Okay, that's said. Anyway, so what's Rav Leishia? Piru shachash amam chayim mesim shkoyach toda rabba. Bolet in time does he give the reason that what I'm doing is the same as Bar Deroima. I'm going out and I'm taking physical food and making it absolutely divine and holy. How do I have the power of taking a physical piece of chocolate or meat and making him godly? How could it be? Al de Mesiras Nefesh. What? The physical food can become holy? You see very clearly. Sorry to tell you, if you go eat a piece of meat, you know who's changing who? He's making you into a piece of meat. That's what's happening. Right? You wish you were making him holy. He's making you a shtickle, whatever. Right? Look at people when they eat. Right? This is the Yom Yom. You see the Yom about the Baal Shem Tov, where the Baal Shem Tov sees he sees a guy there, and the guy's saying, he's eating a piece of meat. So Baal Shem Tov puts his students, they put their hands around, they start screaming because they see that the guy was an ox. His whole head changed into an ox. Mm. So he says, what the Kavod Shabbos Kodesh? So the Kavod my feeding an ox. So I became an ox like that ox. It's not Shabbos, not nothing. That's the
you
problem.
are what you eat.
You become what? Yeah, you are, and you literally like you become it. And the reason is it's a war, right? That's why he says elsewhere in the Nosim, that's why food is called lechem. What's lechem in English? A war. There you go.
Oh,
It's a war.
wow.
Yeah. Because who's gonna win?
Giving spoilers away over there.
Where does the food come from? The food comes from Etzadat Tov Bara. Kanoida, as we know. So now you understand why it says Rav Leoshia.
They eat other food besides that. I don't know if they get hungry in those 2 hours.
No, the Etzadat is the source of food, of food being a bad thing. Okay, everything, but the Tov Bara.
Because of that.
Food has in it both elements. On the one hand, it's going to bring you down the lowest you could ever bring down. When you eat food, right? In Tanya, Perikid Gimel, it says, remember the football told us those words. He said, he was an 85-year-old guy who had gone through 18 years in Siberia and whatever, he went through the whole thing. And he said, guys, you should know, I have a much bigger Yetzer Hara than you. I'm much more materialistic than any Bachar sitting in this place over here. You know why? Because Pasha, it says in Tanya, because the more food you eat, the more Megusham you become. I've eaten a lot more food than any one of you because I'm around for a lot longer. Therefore, I need to tell Megusham. The older I am, the more Megusham I am. Right? So food,
like
Eitzadas Tov Bara, the more you into life, the more you, yeah. So the solution is,
even in Russia.
so the way you're going to save yourself and be able to still be connected is Rav Leoshia. Rav, now we're going to learn how through the Rav process you're going to be able to save Leoshia, to bring Hashem into the dead, to revive the dead. Rav is Lehoshia. What's Rav Leoshia? Here we go. Chazal say, is that in today's daf also? These actual words? Kol Rav Mibavel Rebbe Meretz Yisrael. Well, they just said Rav and Zera. They also changed his name from Zera to Zera.
I think Art Scholar may have quoted that, if I'm not mistaken, on the bottom in that note. But yeah, it was
Rav Zera.
Rav
Zera is one of the quintessential Hasidic ideas about how you have to fast 40 fast or 100 fast to transform us. So the whole idea of transformation is from that story of Rav Zera. Anyway, what do Chazal mean? Why do they call him Rav in Bavel and Rabbi in Eretz Yisrael? Which one's greater? Rabbi is greater. That's why they call him Rav, the lower one. Why would you call someone Rav? Rav is the wrong name to call him. You know what Rav means? Rav Zelariv. You call the guy, you fight. What? And Rav is Ribui for the same reason. A multitude of nations. It's a multitudinous. That is expressing more and more. So Rav is the opposite of Echad. Echad is oneness. Rav is not. But then you say, Yesh Rabim v'yesh Rav. Rabim is plural. Rav is plural singular. Because Rav is plural, but Rav as opposed to Rabim is a single plural. He doesn't say Rabim. So you're saying a lot of things in one thing, right? See that? What does it mean? What it means is I'm taking a lot of things and making them into one. Yosef, the first dream of Yosef, what was it? He said we were all gathering bundles out in the field. And my God, and all your ones came and they all came to me. What Yosef is expressing is our avodah is to gather sparks, to gather bundles. We go out into the field and we bring them all. Every single Jew, what is he? He's a fragmented individual because you got to go work and you got to go daven and you got to go boom, 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 a million different things you got to do. You should know that all of it is one big Rav. Mapshat, all the things you're doing, bring it all to oneness, and that's what it means. They're all bowing down to my sense of attachment to Hashem. So it's Rabim in the sense of Rav. Make sense? Take all the stalks and bring them into one. By Esav it says, nafshois Esav, right? The souls of Esav. Ubeshivim nefesh de Yaakov, what does it say? Afal pi shehein shivim nefesh lashon yachid, v'lo amanu mashot lashon rabim. By Yaakov it says shivim nefesh, because even though he was 70, they were all one. And this is what it means. Yes, you're fragmented, but the fragmentation means oneness. They become one in one entity. Rav means there's a lot of things, and I see one nekuda. And this is the beauty of life in Golus. The Torah says about Rabot Banot. The Rav Revin al Koilo. That's in the Kori Ben Olam. Right? Rav Revin, what's the lashon over there? All of them become one. So when you say Rav Lehoshia, what you're saying is, Hashem, I am so fragmented, I'm so lost, I don't know what's flying, but when I learn some Chassidus, I discover my whole life, all this problem, that thing, what is it? It's sparks, gathering sparks, bringing them to Hashem. And so now all the things I have in my life takes one nekuda in it. That's Rav Lehoshia.
How are you translating the whole sentence? How are you translating the whole sentence? How to give her? How are you translating the whole thing?
You, Hashem, lower yourself down, you make concealment to allow a world to be, so you can become the Adon, the master of the world. Because of that, Olam HaTohu shattered, and because of that, there's sparks all over. And those sparks are in the food and in the work that I'm doing and in the people I relate to and all the things that are happening around. And what's the goal? Mechayim Mesim, I'm going to go bring life to all the dead sparks that are inside them. How? I'm going to be a Yid who's on fire in my connection to Hashem and my davening and my saying Shema with Echad, through bringing Ato into my life, bringing Hashem into my life. I'm Mechayim Mesim. And what I'm doing is I'm taking all the things that are happening to me, which is all the Rav Lehoshia. This is if you start looking at this in the words, this is not imposed on the words. It's really like it's just difficult for us because we always used to saying you.
Perfect.
No, because you're switching the object. You're saying that when it's work, and then it's saying the after is you.
You guys hear everything? Is it me?
No,
okay. Ellie, you're talking as if everybody hears. Nobody hears Rabbi. Okay.
Yeah.
He's gaslighting us. Okay. Rabbi, we cannot hear you.
Or see you.
He's frozen.
Okay. By the way, Ellie, what's with the Ata? You. How come? Because we saying because that's Ani really in a way, no? Isn't Ata your Ani? Never thought about that.
It says by the Avodas HaTefillah that Ata is Hashma. I've got the exact pasuk. That Ata refers to your neshama.
So you're talking to yourself.
That you're talking from your neshama. That your neshama to hear you davening. I forgot the exact pasuk. Hashma. I forgot it. It's if you look in the Chassidus Meveris on the Avodas HaTefillah, it's in the first volume. Literally the first second page is what Ata is. But it's referring to your neshama.
Ata Tetzava is next week's parsha.
Is Masha Ata Moitza, it says Hashma Masha Ata Moitza Bepicha. That which you should daven out loud. Bottom line is you don't sit and daven quietly, you daven out loud. That's what it's saying there. So that your Ata in you, neshama, to hear what comes out of your mouth.
Because you're really trying to invoke inside yourself something technically, right? Because everything's internal in a way. Because you have a neshama, you have a chiluk alakai, and that's
when he talks.
There's no period. There's no multitude ultimately. So it's like a little okay.
Yeah, it's when you're davening is the definition. A mispalel is reflexive. Comes from the word pilel, which means to judge. So you're supposed to be, and as you're davening, you're supposed to be judging yourself, searching yourself. It comes from the word pilel. He had it by Aaron, by a foul. To be a mispalel means that you're thinking things through, and you're taking a cheshbon and nefesh. Put it that way. That's a mispalel. It's technically
like you're assessing. You're assessing yourself. Okay.
Right. That's Shamshon Full Hirsch. That's what he says. But he says your neshama is in you, so you should hear what comes out of your mouth. Your neshama should hear.
Just talking about what Ata means, Rabbi. We see you again.
Rabbi, can I add Ba'ata Tetzava, the Moshe Rabbeinu was removed from next week's parsha, but the Ata is a deeper level, because if a person doesn't have anyone else on a shipwrecked island, he's still Ata. So your essence, Hashem is still talking to you. Who's the real you? Is your neshama.
That makes sense. Someone has to say that. You can't just read it everywhere it says Ata. Yeah, very good. Fine.
Say the Shavart. What do you?
Yeah, I got.
Rabbi, sorry, we lost you for a little bit.
I lost myself. I was kicked off the Zoom.
You found the Ata.
Well, okay. Continue Sunday, Miss Hashem.
Okay.
Yasher Koyach. Good job.
Shabbos, everybody. Shkoyach.
Good Shabbos.